ragazzi, che fanciulle, fa la parrucca, veste la barba, fa la sanguigna. Presto biglietto, tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, fa la parrucca, presto la barba, presto biglietto. Figaro, 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 Figaro.
Everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! You are not advertiser friendly! Yes, episode number 19! Yes, 19 days into this carnival of carnage. I think I've used that before, but who gives a shit? Anyways, so tonight, I had some time to review this movie because it is a long movie. It is like 2.5+ hours long. So I needed to do this on a day off where I had plenty of time to digest, devour, and to think about this movie because it's definitely one of those thought provokers. It's a movie that was on a bunch of people's best of lists. And so I thought, it's highly regarded, so let me check it out. And it is a little Korean horror film called The Wailing. Yes, so what is The Wailing about? Well, a Korean police officer at a remote village is investigating some mysterious acts of violence, some acts of murder, and the perpetrators seemingly all have these boils and rashes upon them, and they seem to be just possessed to commit violent acts, kind of like some sort of zombie-esque plague or rage virus, Anyways, so he is trying to piece things together when his own daughter starts to exhibit signs and symptoms of this foul plague. And all things are starting to point towards a mysterious stranger, a Japanese man who has recently come into the village. So what is going on? What is happening? Is this some sort of strange viral outbreak that's causing people to dive into madness? Or is this sinister Japanese man to blame? Is it magic? Is it spiritual possession? Witchcraft? Who knows? And that's probably part of the wonderfulness of this movie, is that it keeps you guessing as you're going through it. So let's get to those scores, shall we? So, violence and gore, I am giving it a 3.5 out of 5. I mean, most of the violence happens off screen, even though there's a good zombie-esque throat ripping that goes on, but it is also very bloody. It's a very bloody movie. However, I think that most of the violence is aftermath, and there isn't too much disgusting gore. I mean, I guess you could say. And I mean, there are ritual sacrifices of chickens and things like that, which may cause some people to feel a little bit more disturbed. But honestly, I didn't think it was overly violent of a movie, though definitely lots of blood in it. So 3.5 out of 5. Shock value, 4 out of 5. Look, there's a few scare moments, but most of the shock is just the discovery of things that are going on, the actions that are happening and taking place, and the way that this narrative puts you into this sort of emotional state where you're confused but you want answers, and when you start diving into things and they start revealing things bit by bit, you definitely get this shock. And the ending, of course, is the ultimate stab you in the face moment with shockfulness. So anyways, 4 out of 5. Acting, this is some superb acting, maybe a little overdone with the wailing, but there is definitely living up to the name, The Wailing. There are a lot of people wailing in this movie. And And I think that the actor who plays the police officer does a wonderful job. He's very believable as this sort of doofus-esque, not like the highest grade police officer. However, you really get a sense of relation to this guy because he's sort of like the everyman, and he's put into this situation that's strange, and we are living this experience with him and through him, and the way he reacts is very similar to like the way we would react. And I think that the emotion of the characters and the actor and the portrayal of these characters are really awesome and great. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Very well done. Moving on to Nudity. Nudity! There is a brief darkened scene with a naked infected person, but very brief. And then there was some pictures, some drawings in the Japanese guy's shed, house, whatever you want to call it, shanty, that were pretty graphic, but it was very brief. So anyways, 0.5 out of 5. And now we come to the big stuff. Enjoyment factor, 4 out of 5. Like, this movie is a horror mystery, and you are taking on a ride, and it is a long ride. However, it doesn't feel super tedious. Yes, there are moments where you're like, oh my goodness, got a half hour left, and there is like a point where you think they could have just ended the movie like right there. But no, they decide to keep it going because there is still more to be said and more to be discovered. And the thing is, it's so there's this ambiguity in there, and you're trying to guess, and you don't know, you're not sure, because you see evidence that the Japanese guy is a villain, and yet you see evidence that he may not be, and he's a victim of circumstance. And then you're trying to figure out, what's going on. What's up with this mysterious woman who seems to be, leading the police officer on some weird side steps, and then you've got the character of the shaman, which at first seems like, he's like this, fake exorcist guy who's in it for the money. I mean, he gets that suave look. He's got the expensive car, and he seems like, doing one of the rituals. He seemed to be a little bit, happy and into it, like a performance artist more than just, being a serious spiritual guy. And yeah, what he's doing seems to be effective. So you just got all these questions about, like, what's the right way to go, how things are going to be. And then you're like going, what is exactly happening? You're not sure what's exactly happening. Neither is anyone in this movie for the most part. And because of that, you are treated to this sort of super mystery that you're trying to figure out and wrap your head around. And as things are revealed, you get a better understanding, but you also get a bit more questions. And it's one of those things where when you finally go through the movie, you see what was going on, and then you realize that how horrifying the situation really is. And how, if you were put in that situation, could you have done any better in the resolution? Or, I mean, would you be suffering a worse fate than what's going on? So anyways, it was brilliant in that aspect. Yes, it might be a little long. However, I'm giving it a solid 4 out of 5. It was very entertaining and engaging and thought-provoking, and it's a movie that sticks with you afterwards. It's still kind of haunting me right now. So anyways, and my overall impression is a 4 out of 5. It is a strong movie. It's a bit confusing, but some of that is because it's a Korean movie, and the movie is going to assume you know some things about Korean culture, and perhaps even Korean belief structures like shamanism and things like that. And unfortunately for a Westerner who has no real history or experience with culture or their kind of religious beliefs, it does make it a little bit hard to believe, but hard to get your head around and understand some things. I'm sure the filmmakers assume that you would know certain things, you know, like how ominous the crows are. I mean, you can kind of get a sense, but it's kind of like, you know, what I was said about the Neon Demon, not having any idea of like paganism and witchcraft. You kind of don't realize what's going on in that movie because you don't have that context to go, oh yeah, okay, I see where this is like a ritual and things like that. The same thing kind of happens here, is like you're not sure what are all the signs. And so, yes, you do end up being a little bit more confused about what's going on, especially toward the end. You're still trying to piece together, like, what were the evidence that, you know, they're clearly telling you what's going on, but what was the evidence along the way that supports their claim? And it's just, it's hard to decipher without the proper context. So sometimes, you know, if this is one of those movies where you might have to watch a video that breaks down the cultural aspects to help you understand it a bit more, but still very wonderful movie. Definitely a kind of slower burn. I mean, it's not like a drag burn. It's very atmospheric. And even though it's long, it still has a decent pace to it. There's still a decent amount of stuff going on. And because of the mystery and that, you're still you're engaged because you're still wanting to figure out things. And it definitely sprinkles information along the way. So it's not like you have to, you know, wait and you're going thirsty and you're starving for that information. It's giving you those breadcrumbs along the way, which is a good way of doing that type of movie, so you don't lose your audience, you don't have your audience get bored, and you don't have them being like, I'm not gonna continue on with this. So anyways, so 4 out of 5, strong movie, highly recommend it. The Wailing, that averages out to be a solid 3.4 out of 5. So that's The Wailing. What did you think? Have you seen The Wailing? Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Tell me that you totally agree it's a great movie, or you're like, Pusha, the movie was a boring waste of time. You are horrible and I hate you. Unsubscribe, like thousands of others that are going on right now. Anyways, but yeah, leave a comment, give me a like, subscribe, share, tweet about it, do all kinds of cool stuff. And I will talk to you guys next time for next episode on the 31 Days of Halloween Horror. And remember, you stay sexy, internet. You stay scary, internet. And more importantly, man, you gotta choose the right exorcist, I guess. Yeah. Because, man, choosing the wrong one can lead to quite poor situations. I don't know. Anyways.